But AI agents are here today. They're just in a bit more of a limited form. And other people just think, oh, it's bad. It's going to be used as a tool for propaganda in the political realm, and thought that AI was demonic. Today I'm going to talk to you about the future, and specifically the near future. So unless you've been living under a rock, not for the last year, but for the last years at this point, you know about AI, and chances are if you're watching this from the title, you know about AI, but you'd be surprised, perhaps, as I have been surprised, where I go out in the city where I'm living in at the moment, and I survey people who I meet when I'm out, men, women, various networking events, social events, and I find that about 50% of people or more are living under that metaphorical rock. It's quite shocking to me. Those who do know about AI and they know something about what is here and how it's developing, the direction it's going in, the reaction is from many, again, of those who know, seems to trend a bit negative. And I think a lot of that is just to be predicted. What we don't understand, we fear. And I'm not necessarily the biggest optimist about it myself. There's a good chance that it might be uncomfortable for the human economy as it stands today as we go through a big transition here. But this tech is here, and every country has it. It's public, and many people are using it, and I believe that it's already augmenting jobs and probably replacing some jobs, at least from what I can see. It's unclear if those jobs are going to be replaced. That's maybe a conversation for another day. But specifically, what I want to talk to you about today is the concept of AI agents, okay? Now, the negative reaction that I tend to get from people who do know something about what's going on is, ranges from the dark to the kind of benign. I was talking to someone who actually works in IT, so maybe he's more in the know than other people, but he thought that AI was demonic. And, with specific references to the Matrix. And maybe he's right, but I can tell you, I'm working for a future where that is false. And other people just think, oh, it's bad. It's going to be used as a tool for, propaganda in the political realm and so on and so forth. On my end, I think that there's a good chance that it's going to pollute a lot of the internet. And I think this is actually a very big near-term risk. I don't know, I just sort of imagine a situation, for example, where we have AI, where we are actually talking through our phones, but there's like an added layer of disconnect, where I think, people today, like a lot of couples I found, like fight over text messages because there's a misinterpretation, each person is running a different story or different interpretation in their own head. Well, hopefully it won't get worse, but there might be a situation where you have an AI assistant in your phone who's then reading it to you through their own lens on top of the story that you might be running in your own head. And so the disconnect in terms of being in the most connected age in history might potentially become worse in many ways. There's also AI girlfriends and boyfriends, although I think the girlfriends will be more popular in the near term. I hope it doesn't get too popular, though. I think that I'm on Team human for sure. But in terms of pollution of the internet too, if the costs of creating communication and content drops to zero or near zero, there's a big risk of just a lot of regurgitated stuff, which has already been happening for a while anyway. It's just going to get a lot easier. But the incentive is for the big tech players like gatekeepers like Google, for example, gatekeepers to the internet and social media networks to try to tamp that down as much as possible. So at least incentives in that direction are maybe somewhat aligned for a good outcome. We shall find out. But lots of bots, AI bots, are going to be out there. Getting back to AI agents, for some time I've had this vision in my head of an AI that was intelligent enough, not just the large language type of models that are out there today, which are all the rage and all the trend, and everyone's developing these AI models, which are large language models, meaning that they They're trained on basically the entire internet, good slice of all of written human knowledge, and even something called synthetic data. Basically, synthetic data is data that is generated from other AI models. And the way that AI works is basically, or is trained, is you give it a piece of text like a Wikipedia page, and then you cover up some of the words, and it has to predict the words, and they keep fine-tuning and training and making mathematical adjustments to this little digital brain until it can predict what word should go in the blank there. And that is more or less how it learns to think, to predict the next word. Now, there are certain disadvantages to this because, humans aren't necessarily doing this. Our brains are more so evolved to exist, in time, in three-dimensional space. So there are large swaths of understanding of the world that these AI models don't have. And in my professional opinion, as someone who has developed AI from scratch and who could talk to you all day about neural networks, I don't think that today's AI is conscious. There's a hype machine around, the consciousness and the debate of whether they're conscious or not. In my opinion, they're absolutely not. But they definitely do a really good job of imitating a conscious intelligence. Today's tech isn't yet there in terms of an AI that is smart enough, like what I was telling you that I envision, where it can, control a mouse and move around the screen and obey commands and perform any action or task that a human could, through like the laptops and, smartphones that we have today. There are brands and AI models that are being trained right now that are out there that do some of this, but the vast majority of them, as of the recording of this video, they're not very good. They do make mistakes more regularly. They do get stuck. They need a human in the loop. So in terms of it being as good at the level of human, it's not yet there, but today's tech will ultimately evolve to get there, and it undoubtedly will get there. Many big tech companies and startups are working on this. Google just came out with something the other day, their own special AI model. So it's going to get there. But specifically, this idea of an AI entity that can actually perform tasks and take any action that a human could on the screen, this is sort of an example of like the ideal AI agent. But AI agents are here today. They're just in a bit more of a limited form. They're in the large language model AI box, if you will. So let's define what is an AI agent and why you should care, why this is going to be just so significant in the months and years ahead. You're going to be hearing a lot about this. And it's actually exactly what my company is involved in building a platform around called Grobo.com. We are a business growth automation platform with a focus on AI and AI agents. And we're very excited to bring this technology to the market and to commercialize it in a way that we think is really going to help businesses to automate and scale and grow faster than ever before. Because an AI agent, to define it, is basically like a little digital entity or predefined, like in a box personality that can run around and do tasks for you. And it's important to distinguish between tasks and work that the AI agent will do and what we call them, with our company, we call them Grobos, because it's actually an acronym. Grobo is an acronym that stands for something. If you're interested, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'll tell you what it stands for another day. But agents and the work that they do are separate, all right? And I'll explain the significance of multi-step tasks in a moment. But think of it like ChatGPT or any other like 100 different competitors and imitators of what they launched at the end of 2022. I can't believe it's only been that short amount of time, which really kicked off the whole AI revolution. What happens to define what an agent is, like to define their personality, there's something called a system prompt. This is just like instructions that says, okay, this is who you are. And, so it sort of has like a context for what it exists to do. It's like, okay, I'm just kind of thinking in my head of that Rick and Morty episode where the little robot's on the table and the robot says to Rick, what is my purpose? And Rick says, your purpose is to pass the butter. And the robot looks at itself and says, oh my God. But your AI agents probably won't have an existential crisis anytime soon. The system prompts that are given to them or that you would actually create for them could be any one of the following 10 examples so that you can really get this well defined in your mind. So you can tell an AI agent you are a copywriter. All right, your job is to write expert copy. And again, you can get as defined with this as you want or be as general as you want. By giving it the context, it sort of helps to like activate related digital neurons in its brain, and it predicts better, in terms of like the behavior that it's actually going to take. So if you tell it, you're a wild and crazy teenager who just got back from inappropriate night of binge drinking, it's going to activate different response behaviors than if you say, okay, you are a professional real estate copywriter who is an expert at writing conversion-focused copy, like the following example. You know all of the best practices about persuasion and digital marketing when it comes to copywriting, like, for example, the following formulas. Or you don't have to define everything because, again, it's trained on so much data that it's just going to kind of like really stimulate those digital memories and neurons and trigger it to behave in a way that it predicts is going to be most like what you say it should be like. Same thing, another example would be a content writer, very similar sort of situation, although content writer for us is different from copywriter. Copywriter is more about the persuasion, bottom of the funnel type of writing. Content writer is more about, towards top of the funnel content like lead magnets and blog articles and blog posts with an SEO focus, perhaps traffic generation, perhaps engagement being more of a key metric. SEO expert, ad strategist. Designers a little different. They have image generation AI models today, and the way that these models kind of work with an AI agent is the agent would kind of come up with prompts, and ideally it would be trained on vision as well. So the AI model that its brain is based on can both see as well as communicate and predict what to say, through like a chat type of interface in terms of what an image might look like, how it might work. And that way, it just has a better understanding of the world. This is what's called multimodality, all right? So you got text generation, and it's trained on petabytes of data across the internet, everything from all of Wikipedia, all of Reddit, all of, every white paper written by national health institutes and whatnot, surveys and so on, to just even more obscure data that might be buried behind social media walls and whatnot, that maybe are a little bit more difficult to get at, for instance. But also then trained on how to recognize and generate images. So both the intake and the output. And what can be interesting with this type of an agent is that it can actually, I've seen white papers written about how a designer or image generation agent that is also trained on text that can also see its own images is that it can generate an image, reflect on it, and then update its own prompt to generate a better, more aligned image in terms of getting a higher quality output. It's pretty cool. And the results are quite powerful. Other examples of AI agents: support developer, code developer. Writing code is one of the most early tasks, but support developer, someone who could actually just troubleshoot technical support type of issues for you, like, okay, why is this not connecting to this? Why is this not working? Helps you to walk through it, maybe scan the internet, read some online documentation for you. Assistant, pretty straightforward, can read your email, summarize it, tell you what to pay attention to, what maybe not to. And human in the loop can be important for a lot of these tasks, like you maybe don't want to miss an important email. But in many cases, I've seen that the AI today is quite capable and only getting more so in terms of being at or below a human rate of errors. So it's powerful. You can have someone who's a business coach to help you to think through problems. Kind of like be like journaling too. It's not necessarily the best with some of these AI models. It can be a little bit generic, but again, the more specific you can make it, the better. Translator. So if you want to translate your content, like for more SEO traffic, for example, that might be a good AI agent to use. But translation is part of the original inspiration for some of the foundational, it's called transformer, not to get too deep into the weeds here, but it's called transformers, which is part of the architecture of the AI neural network that today's large language models, which help you to create these agents, are based on top of. So the translation aspect is very powerful as well. because in one language, one word does not necessarily mean another word. There's a lot of nuance there. An 11th example, just to give you a bonus, lead generation specialist. So someone who's maybe, or an AI, not yet, but an AI agent who can just know best practices for how to generate leads, maybe like with cold email, for example. So that's kind of like the entity or the personality that kind of advocates or puts itself through like a mental kind of filter to help you get an outcome that you want. And where it's at today is, a lot of these personalities, and it's basically like a chat GPT type of interface or Bard/Gemini, where you're just talking to the AI. And, this is the typical simple interface. It's an interface that we're all familiar with. You type, you get a response back. It's like a chat type of interface. Okay, we got that. And this is where things are going to start to get differentiated in terms of an AI agent and the capabilities. So the problem with the chat type of interface, and this is part of the problem that we are solving with the Grobo platform, is that your Grobos, your agents, if it was just a chat interface, it requires constant prompting of you. All right. You have to give all the inputs all the time to get the output. So generate, write me a 1,000-word, homepage or blog article or whatever. With Grobo, though, we are building something that's more generalist across, and you can use it across your entire business, not just for something like content generation, although that's one of the, the primary examples, which would be blog content generation. And these are multi-step tasks, all right? So like recipes, where you can delegate a task that it has multiple steps, where the AI is going to reflect on itself, on the inputs that it has initially received, and it can work independently of you. And because it's a predefined step-by-step workflow, some people call these agentic workflows, go figure, because it's AI agents. But with these agentic multi-step workflows, it allows you to better steer the AI agent and allows you to set up the AI agent to get work done independently of you, just like as if it were a member of your team. And it's so cool. I'll be giving you a demo here very soon on the channel. If you want to see a demo, though, go to grobo.com. You can really see kind of a visual example of exactly what I'm talking about. So examples. Okay, so blog content writing, kind of the seminal example. Of course, it's a text generation AI model. Like you understand. But with blog content generation and blog content marketing, you might want to write the content, have it write a second draft. This is the other thing too. Having multiple agents within the same workflow actually helps to boost the quality output, because just like how if multiple humans are collaborating in a group, oftentimes the end result will be higher quality because different people are coming at it from different perspectives. Well, if you have multiple kind of personalities of these different AI agents, one person's a project manager, one person's a copywriter, one person is quality assurance, whatever, they can talk to each other and or are just given different steps and reflect on the previous steps, the previous work that the previous agent or agents did, and they're just better able to give a more refined output because there's more self-reflection or group reflection. So you can give it, generate a first draft. Okay, now I want you to refine it. And you can even start higher level, like, okay, outline, research, write the first draft, write the first introduction, rewrite the intro, send it to the senior copywriter who's skilled in this, quality assurance, put it all together, write another draft again. And then also it can integrate with you and your existing team, because I don't know about you, but I definitely don't feel comfortable just saying, okay, go ahead and publish it a la carte, or as is rather, without human in the loop. So this can collaborate with your existing team and you can have human in the loop type of workflows. Very, very easy, very, very useful. We designed it to be that way. But other tasks that you can delegate in a similar fashion where you have because every business has its own recipe for how you want to do business and how you want your brand to be represented too. That's also the benefit of these customized workflows, which again is exactly what we've built with the Grobo platform. Social media posting, SEO strategy and optimization. You can have an AI agent, a Grobo, who wakes up once a week or every day or even multiple times a day and just performs an SEO strategy and optimization check. Maybe makes recommendations, and even potentially in the near future, because we're doing all these third-party integrations with other tools, actually implements the recommendations, maybe with the approval of a team member if you like. In addition, though, ad creation optimization, job applicant curation, kind of able to categorize different job posts. Is someone qualified? You have to be a little careful, though, because some of the terms of service in terms of use of some of the AI models, they restrict how you can use it in terms of the job approval or job hiring and application process. So just make sure that you are compliant with that. Because again, some of the models are alleged to sometimes be biased. So just keep an eye on that. And again, AI is not yet perfect, and it's getting there, though. It's getting better and better. Lead follow-up and tracking, data analysis, lead magnet campaigns. Oh, okay, once a week, once a month, we want to come up with a new campaign. We want to write it. We want to design it. We want to optimize it, set up the landing page, blah, blah, blah. Today with Grobo, it can't do all of those steps, but it can integrate, where humans are best and where AI is not capable. It can integrate, your team who are humans into the workflow in a collaborative fashion so that the AI is, again, helping to accelerate all of this where it is the most talented and capable. Project management, as well as a weekly newsletter. These are only 10, actually 11 examples of tasks that you can generate, and hopefully you can see how agentic workflows, as you might call them, are different and kind of a separate but related concept to what agents are. Agents are the ones who do the work. Agentic workflows are set up in a way where the agents should be multiple agents for best results we're seeing. There's a white paper I read the other day, or came across the other day, that just said agents are all you need, which is kind of a play on words from a previous very famous paper called Attention is All You Need. It was talking about the large language models and transformers and whatnot. But basically, again, it just showed that more agents, these different personalities being in a single workflow where there's reflection and collaboration between them, lead to a higher quality outcome based on human evaluation and scoring of what we would expect to be a high and higher quality output. So that's it for today's video. I hope this video you found to be informative. I could talk about this stuff all day, but let me know what your thoughts are on AI agents. And if you found this video valuable, I'd really appreciate it if you liked it and left a comment to let me know what you thought. If you found it valuable for your own benefit, I encourage you to hit subscribe as well so that you can see more videos like this about AI and growing your business. I talk a lot about strategy, kind of in a conversational and story-based format based on what we see with our customers and clients and my own experience. And if you'd like to learn more about Grobo, go and check us out. We're launching it right now at grobo.com. It's amazing. We're so excited to share it with you. Grobo.com. All right. I'll see you in the next video. Please share it with others. I appreciate it. Thank you.